Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. I'm doing Inktober again. This is my second Friday doing Inktober, which is really good because I have never been so successful with my Inktober attempt. So this is great because this is the second week that I've done Inktober every day except weekends, because I'm giving myself weekends off, and I think that's part of the reason why I've been able to keep up with this. So the prompt for today is whale. So I love animals, and the most obvious response to that prompt is what I'm going to draw, a whale. But I'm not just drawing a realistic whale. I'm going to be, I've already drawn a chibi whale, and I decided to go with a humpback whale because at first I was like, oh, orca, because I just googled whale and orcas were some of the pictures. But then I'm like, wait a minute, orcas are not actually whales, they're porpoises. So I wanted to be more authentic, I guess, and humpback whales are probably the most visually recognized whales, or at least that's how I feel. I think that's what people think of. If they don't think of an orca, they think of a humpback whale. So I looked through a whole bunch of pictures and drew my own whale. I remember learning that humpback whales can be identified by the markings on their flippers and their tails. So I made sure to give mine its own unique markings. And I also like this because these markings are usually really bright, like white, and then the rest of the whale is pretty dark. So that'll be a nice contrast, but I'm so happy with this sketch the way it is. I decided, rather than doing an experimental full inked piece where every bit of it is made out of ink, I wanted to leave this stuff and color that later, and I was thinking probably color it digitally because I just like this. I like this chibi whale that I have sketched here so much that I don't want to risk doing something that I don't end up liking. So I'm going to ink it more like my usual style of inking, and I'm even using my normal tools. So this is the nib holder from the ArtSnacks Inktober box, but I've put one of my favorite nibs in there, the G pen, and I've also got my other favorite nibs over to the side here. I am going to use this ink from the Inktober box, and I dug out, I thought I must have something that would make it easier, because this has been kind of troublesome now that the ink is low enough that I have to really stick the pen way in there. And this holder right here, this grip, is too big for this opening on the ink. I mean, it can technically get in there, but yesterday I started getting ink all over it. So I found this little thing that is supposed to go on the edge of your palette, so like you're holding a palette, and so you've got you can put ink or water or whatever in here. I've never had any reason to use it, but I kept it around because I got it in not an ArtSnacks box, but a pigment and palette box. They are out of business now, but I'm glad I kept it, even though I never used it for anything before. I just put it on this little sketchbook because it was too wobbly just having it like this. It wasn't, like, I don't like how it's off to one side, so this is making it a little more level. So this is all I'm going to use. I might use this one. This little nib is good for tiny fine detail lines. I think it's called a Maru pen, but I can't remember. I have to use this special holder for it because it's, I don't know if you can tell, but it's much smaller, and so it doesn't fit in standard nib holders. But I might not even use it because the G pen is really good for doing a wide variety of lines without having to change your nib. So the first thing I'm going to do is get some ink into this little thingy. And I guess this is why they give you a dropper with most inks, but I'd prefer just to have a wide opening and be able to dip my pen directly in. Can't do that, but I really like this ink. I really like the ink itself. So that's why I'm going through this trouble when normally I might not. Plus, I still did pay for the Inktober ArtSnacks box, so I want to make sure to get my money's worth out of here and use it up good. How's that? I don't know if that's enough to... Well, we'll see. We'll see how it works. I have never drawn a chibi whale before, so that's probably another reason why I'm really pleased with this drawing. With this pencil sketch already. I haven't even inked it yet. So since I'm just going to stick with my normal style of inking, this might be a super short stream. Then again, yesterday or the day before, I thought I might be short, and I ended up being long, so just see how it goes. Just gonna keep going till I'm done. This nib is just so much more responsive than the one that was actually included with the ArtSnacks Inktober box. I like this one's so much more. The only problem with this one is that since it can do a really nice wide line if you press down on it hard enough, it also means it runs out of ink faster. When you do those things, you gotta remember to refill, to dip again, so that it doesn't give you that weird double line that happens, because the way these work is that there's a split in between the metal point, and as you press down harder, they split apart, and that's how more ink comes out. But if there's not enough ink, it'll stick to the 2 points, and no ink will come out in between them. It's so cute. It's so cute. I'm so happy. So happy with this whale. Oh, see, there it went. I couldn't do this full line. Exactly what I was talking about. It's got to keep dipping. This thing is actually pretty nice. I'm gonna start using it more often. I'm not making this belly a little smaller than I intended, but not doing anything about it now. Just gotta work with it. Whale belly. Oh, it's so cute. I know it's my own drawing, but still. I love drawing chibi animals. It's one of my favorite things. going. Tried really hard to get the shape right for the mouth area, because it's really angular in the front, and the bottom of the mouth actually comes out over the top of the mouth. So I made it really happy. I wanted it to be happy. All these little bumps on it. I don't know what they are, but they all have these, so. Darn it, come on. Feels all quiet again. So I just turned off my Fire Emblem Awakening soundtrack. Blast it, I've got a little bit of paper. Now let's see. Got these, they've all also got these wrinkles, and I think it's just like the wrinkles happen because as they open their mouths over time, it just gets wrinkly. Okay, what else? This flipper over here. And this is where I took some big artistic liberties with the eye. I wanted to give it a really happy anime style eye. Totally unrealistic. Oh, I'm so happy. So happy. I think I'm going to use this little pen after all. Clean off this nib. I'll use it for these bump things. Whale bumps. So cute. This area is one where I was glad I looked at multiple different angles when I was looking through pictures, because one of these bumps in the middle of the head form a line. And I did not notice that in the pictures where I was just looking at it from the side. There's all those. Just going to do these lines to indicate where the difference between the light and the dark part of its coloring are. This might end up being a super, super short stream. It's only been about 15 minutes and I'm pretty close to done with what I wanted to do with physical media. So I really want to color this normally and not use ink. Oh, it's blasted cute. Okay, let's wipe off this nib. And hopefully it's dry enough. I think so. I think it's dry enough to erase. That eye was staying wet for a little while. I could see it was still so shiny, so it was still wet. But it looks dry now. This kind of ink that's made for dip pens. All the ones I've tried are always the best for not getting erased away when you erase the graphite sketch from underneath. Ink that comes in pens, for some reason it just erases away, sometimes almost as easily as the graphite itself. Just erasing the rest of the page in case I got any graphite elsewhere. Just smudging it with my hand or something. Wipe off the eraser shavings. Oops. Now, look for any little detailed areas that need some extra erasing. Want it to be nice and clean so that when I scan it in to color it, I will have to do hardly any cleaning up, and I can just get started with coloring. Whenever I scan these in, I always I'll do little spot treatments, because sometimes there'll be a little speck on my scanner, even though I always brush it off and brush the page off, it's still a little speck or a little kitty hair or something and get in there. And so I do little spot cleanups, and then I also edit the levels and turn the bright stuff way up and also the black stuff way up, so that it's an even greater contrast, because it just looks better for online presentation that way. Even if technically that's how it looks in real life, it will never look it. Online we are so used to bright colors, clean, you know, it's a digital world, so I try to make my art fit into that world when I scan it in and prepare it for sharing online. So cleaning it up as much as possible beforehand makes that process a lot easier. So let's see, where can I use some more? I might just use this brush from the ArtSnacks Inktober box and give it a nice thick black outline, how I like to do, how I always like to do. And then I might be done. Oh yeah, I love this. I love the thick black outline. That looks good, man. Being able to spin my sketchbook around like this is actually a big reason why I prefer to sketch and ink in physical media, even if the end result will be mostly digital. Even if I'm planning on coloring it in digitally, I do have a tablet monitor where I can, it's on an arm so I can spin it, but it's just not as easy and free to do as this is. So I still prefer to do all this part with physical media. What a lovely whale you are. You're just so lovely. You're just so pretty. If you're hearing some noise, it's because I let Kiba come in here and be in here with me. He's not a naughty kitty like Kiki. He just wants to come in here and lay on top of my computer. At least he's not naughty when I have my window closed like right now. If the window is open, the temptation is often too great and he gets up in the window, and I don't like that. Because then his hairs get all over the curtains, and then when I open the curtains spread the hairs everywhere. And I don't like all the hairs getting all over my art projects. But right now it's fine. It's way too cold outside to have the window open. We've had a frost warning since yesterday. Almost done. So I'm doing thinner, even though this is like the thick black outline I'm going for, I'm still doing thinner outline over this side because this is supposed to be farther away than this. And I also did a thicker line underneath, and in fact I might make this part even thicker to show what's top and bottom as well. Such a nice whale. Such a nice, good little whale. Oh, chibi whale. Chibi whale. It's actually been a long time since I've drawn a chibi. A couple months. It's a long time for me. Now I'm just fixing up all these little lines. If it looks like it needs a little more, add a little bit more. think this is good. That sort of makes up for going half hour over yesterday and the day before, getting done half hour early. I originally did intend to ink the top part of this and go for a nice contrast, but I really I don't want to make this an experiment. I want to make this another member of my many chibi animal caricatures, I guess you could call them. So I'm sticking with my typical inking style or method. Looks like this needs a little more help from the eraser right here. That's good. Okay, so I'm going to sign this, and let's see, I guess I'll use this little tiny nib, and I think a good place to sign it is right here above its flipper. It's such a nice little spot. Kind of hard to write letters with this nib though. You have to always be moving from top to bottom, or else it doesn't work out right. Signature mark turned out kind of funny because of this nib. There. Wipe that ink off. Yay! Done super fast today. That's okay, it's Friday. Can take it easy today. And well, I gotta get back to work on a different project after this. But at least for Inktober, taking it easy. So this is my response to the prompt whale for the 12th day of Inktober 2018. I won't be doing any this weekend, but I will be back on Monday for the next one. Thank you for watching.